Well, this One Piece chapter 1177 is giving me trouble, and apparently I'm not the only one. Let's talk about it. I think Oda right now is starting to go off the rails with his ideas. Maybe he'll land on his feet, but for now, I think he's taking a risky path. This chapter 1177 is going to make people angry. It's going to raise legitimate questions. Legitimate? What's this all about? Did Oda just come up with the worst idea in the manga? Of course, I'm talking about the famous Domi Reversi. We still don't know what it is today. We don't know. I mean, the rules change from one chapter to another. We don't understand anymore. We just don't get it. Maybe I'm just dumb again. That's totally possible. But what's the point here? You've got the big bad guy showing up. Well, we partly discover his power, Domi Reversi, which means the guy reverses people and he turns the good guys into bad guys who are under his control. He buffs them. On top of that, they're even stronger and they're more or less immortal. You think, wow, crazy power, super overpowered. How are they going to get out of this? That was a big question, a major issue. He builds up the tension, like when it happens to Zebek. When that happens with Zebek in the God Valley flashback, we're like, man, this is tough. How are we going to get out of this? You have Roger and Harry Garp, who are forced to use their combined maximum power, a huge attack with perfect timing to knock him out. And that knocks him out and frees him from that control. You say, oh yeah, so that's it. So the key to beating the Domi Reversi is to master the Conqueror's Haki and strike at the right moment and all that. You say, wow, that's tough. That's going to require a crazy level of mastery. We're not even sure if Luffy has that level and all anyway. Previous chapter, what do we have? You have Dory and Brogy decapitating each other. Boom! You say, oh no, they're dead. But actually, no. Once they've taken a really fatal wound, like decapitation, boom, it gets cancelled, and they come back fresh as a daisy, pretty much. At least they're in the state they were before the Domi Reversi, since one of them didn't get back the arm that had been cut off by Gunko. So you think, well, in the end, it's easy. But there's still the aspect of, you still have to beat the guy, at least. At least there's that, you know. And here in the chapter we have Chopper turning into Hulk Chopper. He slaps a giant, the little demon inside leaves. And so the giant comes back like, well, actually, I'm nice now. Everyone, including the characters, wonders, what happened? And actually, no matter how much I think about it, and all the theories that might exist in any case, I think, at least at first glance, we'll see how it could be used. But I think that all the solutions they offer us every time are crap. So I'll have to explain, I'm being a bit blunt about it. Well, you're on the boss's channel, so I'm a bit direct. That's it, it's not for sensitive people. So, I think there are at least 3 theories. The first theory is that it's related to the devil fruits. So, since Chopper has a devil fruit and Imsama lets loose because we see a little devil coming out of the guy's body, and then bam, it activates the reversible domain. We know in the mythology of One Piece that you can't have more than one devil fruit because otherwise your body explodes. Because you see, when you eat a devil fruit, well, you're kind of possessed by a demon apparently. A demon that we never see, we don't know anyway. So the theory is that since in the reversible domain you're kind of possessed by a demon that's new, we didn't know that. That we just added right now. We never actually see a demon possess anyone, but that's apparently what's going on. And so the fact that a devil fruit user, which makes up a good 50%, if not more, of the characters in One Piece up until now, yeah, well, yeah. He touches someone in a reversible domain because he can't have 2 demons. So the demon from your devil fruit expels the one in their body. And so the little demon leaves. And so I don't know where it goes actually. You know, it leaves, but we don't know where it goes. And that cancels the reversible domain and the guy becomes nice again. The problem with this idea it's that it's way too easy. I mean, 3/4 of the cast have devil fruits. Hello? For example, Imsama Akari uses demi-reversible on the Straw Hats. Well, all he has to do is give them a little punch, the demons leave, and they're actually freed. It's lame. I'm sorry. This idea is lame. This idea is lame. Second theory, I'm not sure it's any better. It's just that, actually, because there was a whole thing about a forest god at some point in the One Piece universe. And actually, Chopper's fruit would actually be the forest god's fruit. Or something like that. That's what I read. And so, well, he has the power to chase away demons. I don't know where people get that from. I think they pull it out of their ass. But it would still be pretty damn lucky if there were two guys from the same crew who didn't eat the fruit we think they ate. So we thought Luffy had eaten the gum gum fruit. Nope, not at all. It's the human fruit, model Nika. The divine fruit. And it would be the same for Chopper, who, by the way, still doesn't have hockey either. If that's the case, it would really be treating us like fools too. The third one, I think there isn't a third one. I have my own theory since we can say what we want. It works because Chopper has a pure heart. It's that simple. Maybe that's all there is to it. Chopper has a pure heart. He touches a demon which then flees. What's even more, but at least not everyone has a pure heart, you know what I mean? If that's the case, I don't think it's that amazing either. If that's the case, at least it adds some difficulty because Zoro doesn't have a pure heart, Sanji doesn't have a pure heart, none of the Straw Hat Pirates have a pure heart except maybe Luffy, and even then. But that's because Chopper is an innocent animal, so as a result, he's pure. So if he drives the demon away, it works. But even that, I'm sorry, I think that's lame. What's this crappy idea about Domi and Reversi? Actually, this whole Domi and Reversi thing needs to end at Elbaf, honestly. That's it. I even wonder if Elbaf might secretly be the last arc. What do you mean I was asking myself that question? Because, it was weird. Because if you introduce the villain, supposedly, Final Imsama, who manifests on Elbaf, not in person, but still manifests on Elbaf, and you manage to defeat his power. Already. Well, after that, what do you use him for? Does he have another power that's hidden somewhere? You see what I mean? If we manage to defeat his power, he's already beaten, basically. It's very strange. So, are we actually in the last arc of One Piece without realizing it? Well, what I'm saying seems a bit far-fetched because there are so many subplots that haven't been resolved yet. There are at least 15 subplots here, not to mention all the mysteries on top of that. Blackbeard, we don't know what happens to him. Kobe, we don't know what happens to him either. Law, we don't know what happens to him. There are a lot of things whose outcome we still don't know. The Cross Guild, we don't know what happens to them. Vivi and Wapple, we don't know what happens to them either. There are a lot of things going on. Dragon, all that, we don't know what's happening. So this story is weird. I don't think this is the end. We're getting close to the end, but still, it's taking a really weird turn. So you might say, but boss, in the chapter, there's still a little Usopp moment. Yes, that's right. But it's too glossed over. I mean, there's Usopp who shows up in front of Imsama, who's already fighting her, apparently. Brook is knocked out, saying, Usopp run, etc. And Usopp says, no, I'm in Elbaf, the country I've always dreamed of. I won't dishonor myself now. I won't run away and abandon a friend. Here, I'll throw some little things at you with my slingshot. It's gonna be cool. It should have been cool. Except it's not in this context. I'm sorry, why all of a sudden do you wake up and decide to do something that's pointless anyway? You give a nice speech, but you don't move things forward. It would have been cool if Usopp with his last breath actually moved things forward. Well, maybe it will still happen. But right now, no, he's just there. He's just posing, actually. He makes big speeches, then gets smashed. And above all, the huge problem with this chapter, the pacing. The pacing isn't good. There, I said it, the structure isn't good in this chapter. There you go. I'm sorry, where is the grandeur? Where is the epicness? It's not here. Usopp's speech, he would have made it 15 years ago. It would have been much more epic than this. Oda focuses on scene composition, but here it's just two close-ups of his face. You can't even follow what's happening when he shoots his thing that makes a mushroom shaped like a skull. It's lame. And same thing when Luffy arrives. You're like, well, there's the kind of funny scene where he's on Loki's back and he goes, ah, look, I rode a dragon. And then Nami yells at him, you idiot. He's causing more trouble than helping, that idiot. Then he yells at Loki. Loki fires a big beam at him. Are you a psychopath? Are you nice or are you a psychopath? Because imagine if that hurts Luffy. Were you going to kill him just for that? You're a weird character. I don't get it. Luckily it's Luffy, so nothing happens, but I still don't get it. And so they arrive. Loki and Nika come face to face with Imsama. At that point, you're like, damn, they're finally meeting. There, Nika is facing Imsama. There, normally you're like, oh, they're going to meet and it will be epic. I expected a wild double-page spread at the end. No, it's Luffy who shows up. He sees his two buddies on the ground. A small panel shows a line between his eyes indicating he's angry. He says, I'm beside myself. And then you have a not-so-great panel with Nika. Imsama says, Nika and Nidhogg, you will submit. Our clash will shake the world. First of all, what the villain is saying is annoying. Our clash will shake the world. Quit the dramatic announcements and show us it's shaking the world. Your lines are getting on my nerves. What's this about? Take Goku and Frieza. Our fight is going to destroy Namek. That's not what's happening. He's destroying Namek. He doesn't say, careful, our clash, that's lame. That's supposed to be epic. What's going on? Same, you see Nika's face when he's angry. You were angrier when it was Trafalgar Law who got taken out by Doflamingo. What's up with that? Again, he just gets a speech. Oda would have shown an epic double-page spread of an angry Nika. Like, now I'm about to lose it. First of all, why does he say, I'm beside myself? Normally, we should have just seen his face and we would have understood. But no, he's just standing there like this. I'm not happy. Isn't that proof that, in this case, it's a failure? You don't need to say it. I'm angry. I'll take Dragon Ball as an example. Does Goku say, I'm very angry? Ah, Super Saiyan, no. You understand right away. You can see from his face that he's angry. Not here, you have to say it. Because in Nika's design, visually, it just doesn't work. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm going to tell you, sir. I know the other One Piece YouTubers won't tell you. They won't tell you. I don't know, I don't watch what they do, but they won't tell you. I'll tell you, the layout of this chapter is terrible and embarrassing. Sorry. This is a major moment. We've waited 25 years, though we haven't known about Imsama for 20 years. But Yannicka facing Imsama, normally, he should really go all out. Think back, remember. The first time Naruto faces pain. Oh, there. We've got a killer page. You go, oh, now it's going to blow up. The first time we have Goku facing Frieza, we go, oh, now it's going to blow up. Here, I'm sorry, I don't tell myself it's going to blow up. I don't think it at all, so much so that the characters have to say it themselves. They have to say it. There you go, there's Luffy who has to tell you, I'm not happy. You have Loki who has to tell you, I'm going to crush you. I won't let you get away, or something like that. And you have Imsama who says, our clash will split the world. But what the hell is this crap? Where are we right now? I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all with this chapter, or even with the last batch of chapters. So I only ask for one thing. I just want to come back in a week or two and apologize sincerely. That's all I want. But for now, I'm not at all reassured by the direction they're taking. This whole Domi Reversi thing, plus the whole wild panel layout thing, which isn't crazy. I think he got himself into trouble with his giant story. Actually, the idea of giants worked back when he had more time, when the One Piece story was simpler and he had more time to do cool panel layouts. The giants worked in Eni's lobby. The giants worked in Little Garden. The giants worked in Marineford. But since the time skip, it doesn't work anymore. The giants don't work for me anymore. because it's too messy. He puts in too many things, too many characters, too many settings. And on top of that, you have to play with the scale ratios that are supposed to be gigantic. I'm sorry, I don't get any sense of giant scale in these pages. It was a crappy idea, the idea of the giants. I'm saying it. I think it was a dumb idea. There you go. Graphically, this whole giant thing doesn't help One Piece at all. I don't get any sense of grandeur. There you go. So, a chapter that I found, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. I found it bad. It annoyed me. It irritated me. I'm thinking, but what are you? You're this close to the finish line. You're going to mess up. Seriously. We thought, and I hope I'm wrong to think this, we thought that One Piece would escape the curse of post-2000 shonen, where in what is supposedly their final arc, they mess everything up, you know. Yeah, we saw it with Naruto. I won't back down on that. We saw it with Naruto, with Bleach, and we'll see it with One Piece. That's really it. We saw it with Jujutsu Kaisen too. Uh, what is it really? It's a shame. No, honestly, it's a shame. I'm really disappointed. So I hope that I'm getting upset for nothing. I truly hope so. I only ask one thing. If I show up next week, sorry. I sincerely apologize. I didn't see it coming. I doubted. That's all I'm asking. But for now, you're starting to prove me right. I'm scared. I'm usually right about Dragon Ball. I mean, that's my area of expertise. I'm almost in it, okay? But if I start being right about your theory in a bad way, that's not good. Anyway, I hope the bar will be raised. Because 20 years of using the BAF to do this to us. The One Piece better be something amazing, I'm telling you anyway. That's all I had to say about the episode. I mean, the chapter this week, sorry. I'll let you tell me what you thought about it in the comments as usual.